So you may have noticed that meat exists and it's kind of healthy and tasty, and you want in on the action and you don't know where to go and what cuts to buy. You're a carnivore now. It's too expensive. What the hell do I do? Vegetable police, help me. I made a list. Meat prices, different cuts, where to save the money and where not to compromise. We should talk.
This is what they had envisioned, a world in a lockdown, hardly any people risen.
So this is by no means a comprehensive list. It's probably mostly only going to benefit people in Toronto, Canada in general, maybe the States. I mean, I just said I bought a rotisserie chicken for $13 and you Yankees are like, this is $7 over here. What are you doing? It must be nice. Must be nice. Is a house less than $3 million as well? Wow, look at you. So what I did was go to every single store that sells meat in my area, from like big chain grocery stores to local butchers to everything in between. And then I compared everything. I went in with notes. People are like, well, who is he working for? Myself. And so I was comparing grass-fed to grain-fed, factory-farmed crap to happy cows that were tickled. Pork is not on this list, you bacon fried freak. So here's the deal. Let's just look at some stuff here. If you have grain grass-fed beef, which I just learned in Canada, you cannot have 100% grass-fed beef because cows need to be at least 2 years old to be sold, and that's 2 Canadian winters that you're going to have to get through. We don't have enough grass in the world to feed a cow all grass, so if you're getting grass-fed beef, I don't know how they're doing it. They're lying to you most likely. They're fed hay. You know what hay is? Wheat. It's freaking wheat stalks. Gluten meat. Have fun with that. So like, do the best you can. Don't stress over it. Just try to get like a happy farm that isn't feeding GMO corn. Just try to start there. You might live. So here's how this chart works. Galaxy is the factory farmed meat that you should never get. It was an Asian market. They pay attention to none of the rules that our government suggests. They're probably like carbon monoxide in the meat, frickin' jabs out the yin yang, antibiotics even though they're illegal. So never go there, but that's just a reference point to how cheap meat could be. The Carrot is our organic, woke, vegan, hippie place that happens to have some meat, but it's mostly plant-based, bro. They don't even know what lard is. Fresh from the farm, a nice little local place, Mennonite farmers. Bespoke is also a local butcher with like super grass-fed beef. Although now that I know what I know, it's probably not real. Loblaws, just a regular chain grocery store, has some fantastic deals on grass-fed lamb, as we'll see. No Frills is the worst. I went in there was almost nothing. It was the apocalypse store, like empty shelves on meat. Worst ever. Meat department, my new butcher. He's cool. Foodland actually had some surprising organ sales. And Row Farms for beef suet only, because everything else is overpriced. So now that we know that, looking at this, just grain-fed beef, it's quite pricey if you want ribeyes. They're insane all across the board. Like, you could get the cheapest one at Loblaws, but it's still factory farmed crap. So if you want beef, the life hacks are in green. Cow tongue at Fresh from the Farm. That's high quality stuff, very fatty meat. But you have to keep in mind, cows have one tongue. How much tongue would you eat if you killed a cow? Like, you're going to eat cow every day. There's probably something in cow tongue that will kill you slowly if you eat too much of it. Same with liver. It's like, think of that. Big cow, tiny tongue. Don't eat tongue every day for the rest of your life. You're going to over accumulate something bad. Brisket seems to be a life hack. It's a fatty cut of meat. It's tough, so you have to pressure cook it or slow roast it. Those are the life hacks for ruminant animals. It's these legs, these cuts that are so tough that have to be slow roasted, but they're cheaper. And if you buy the whole roast, that's cheaper. If you buy a ribeye, super expensive. A whole ribeye roast, better. Chuck roast, even better. Korean ribs, not bad. Kinda cheap, very fatty. little bones. So like beef, it's a pricey one, not gonna lie. And if you want grass-fed, I saw almost no deals. The only deal viable was the ground beef. And it just said grass-fed on it. That means almost nothing. It's just marketing. But it was cheap. So ground beef is usually cheaper than most other cuts. But like, it's sickening. It gets so boring after a while, and then you have no jaw muscles. When you get these tougher cuts and you're chewing, especially the raw meat eaters, you develop a jaw of Greek god status. You're just like you bite through wood if you had to. Ground beef, it's like baby soup. What are you doing? So those are the sweet spot deals that I found. The cow tongue at Fresh from the Farm, brisket, and Korean ribs, decent there. The meat department had a nice chuck roast that was pretty complete and seemed like they were happy cows. And liver at Bespoke was the cheapest. Grass-fed liver, if it's even true. And then Row Farms had the beef suet, and Foodland is the only place I've even seen a beef heart. And those are fun to have sometimes. It prevents heart disease. Guaranteed. Don't eat too much of it though. You want some heart disease. When it comes to chicken, I don't know where I stand on it. Right now, I'm basically only lamb. So like, a lot of this list is irrelevant to me now. It's only lamb that I eat. So I have a bit of beef suet because it's hard to find lamb fat, and then mostly lamb meat. So when it comes to chicken, it's like, all I know is when I go for a rotisserie chicken, I start getting zits. There's no ingredients in them. It's just salt, pepper, and chicken. It must be the inflammation from the omega-6s. They're higher. It's bad. The chickens are the nuts of the vegan world. You got your flax seeds, which is your grass-fed lamb. And then, oh my God, freaking pumpkin seeds are chicken. Too much omega-6. Huh? So while it would be nice at $9.99 a kilogram, all these prices are per kilogram. Deal with it, you non-metric freak. 9.9, not bad at Loblaws for chicken thighs. Wow, look at you. 8.8 for a whole chicken. Not bad. So you're going to Loblaws for your chicken, but you're a little inflamed because of it. That's on you. Fish, I didn't realize how expensive fish was. It's just so pricey per kilo. It's like, why would you even do that? Like, lamb is so high in omega-3 if it's grass-fed, then you're gonna spend like 3 times the amount for fish with mercury. Is it worth it? So the odd time you get some sockeye salmon, I think it's priced decently at Loblaws. That seems to be the best price. Now feel free to add your tips, because I'm a moron. This is just my first attempt at trying to discover cheaper cuts of meat. You probably know all the hacks, so let us know down below what to do. When it comes to lamb, I find that the leg roast is pretty cheap. $22 a kilo. Sometimes it's cheaper than that. It has a big bone though, so I did some calculations, made some weights. You get roughly 80%, 87% of the weight of the entire thing. 13% is bone weight that you will discard. So you're losing a bit, but not bad. Not bad on the prices. The shoulder chops, a decent cut. You could do worse. Ground lamb is surprisingly expensive for some reason. Have not seen it very cheap. Don't know why that is. I didn't even write down the rack of lamb because it's so expensive. I would just never, I see it sometimes. I'm like 60 something a kilo. I'm like, why would I do that when the shoulder chop is a third of that and it's still meaty? Sure, you get a little more tender action on it. I remember in Thailand, I ate nothing but lamb for a while because I found grass-fed from New Zealand frozen lamb chops, and they were so fatty. I was like, right on. And I a lot of good things happened in my body during that. A lot of gut pain because I ate it raw, but my skin cleared up. It was good. When it comes to eggs, I'm no longer eating them, but I was sourcing them for a while. I saw a funny meme on Instagram. It was like someone in a grocery store, and it was like, what level of chicken torture can I live with today? Can I afford that? Those are a bit pricey. Okay, this one, maybe not as happy of a chicken. You get the best. You go for the best one, the most. So happy chickens, they range from anywhere from 6 to 12 a dozen. I remember a couple years ago when I was doing keto, I was eating like quite expensive cuts, and I didn't realize, and I was spending like $300 a week, if not more, sometimes $400, and I was like, what am I eating that's so, what the hell happened? And so like I started looking into it, and I'm like, oh yeah, don't get that cut, don't get this, okay, that's an occasional thing. I was getting these lamb shanks that were like 60 a kilo. I'm like, oh, wow. And all this ground lamb too. And so like, look around for cheaper cuts. If you bought half a cow, you'd be done for. You just need a big freezer, which I don't have. It's a tiny apartment with a big freezer. They don't mix. And then a power outage, what are you gonna do there? Oh, get a generator. What does it generate energy with? Is it gasoline? You can't run that in an apartment. How long is it gonna last if it's just a battery? One day. When's the power going on? What are we headed into as a planet here? Is like everything shutting down soon? The economy crashing? What the? Do banks still exist? What's happening? Nobody knows. So, just get the cheapest stuff you can, but the happiest cow for the cheapest cost, and you'll be healthy. I know it's tempting to get the cheaper cuts of meats, factory farmed. Oh, who cares? They're fine. They're not fine. They're not happy. It shouldn't be so terrible for them where the guys are beating the cows to get in line, and things should be more civil, and you got to pay a little more for the happier cow. So try it sometime. There's my list. Did it help anybody? It could have. You thumb up this video. You could thumb it down if you're on your way to the grocery store and you're about to buy muffin tins. Just because you made a carnivore muffin out of egg yolks and frickin' gelatin, squid gelatin, doesn't mean you're healthy, you keto treat freak. Oh, I wanted a better texture. Just be happy with the ground meat, you jawless homeboy. I don't treat myself to much. I'm pretty happy with very basic cuts. But that's me. I have discipline. I've eaten raw meat. There's almost zero joy. I'm literally eating lamb kidney fat sometimes. Plain. It's like a tasteless cheese candle. But I live to talk. How you doing? Subscribing for more videos?